Who are the brethren? Some consider all believers in this group. If you do something for a believer in Christ, certainly he countenances that. I'm not knocking that. That's a valid application, but I don't think that's the primary view here. I think there may be a more specific thing in view here. The Jewish remnant, which will be given the mandate to be his witness throughout the world. The 144,000 that we see sealed in Revelation 7 are a specific group of people. There's a period of trouble coming that is described by Michael in Daniel 12 and quoted by Christ in Matthew 24, a time of trouble such as the world has never seen to that time or ever would see again. And by the way, when he's saying that, he's got the Holocaust behind him. It's going to be worse. The Holocaust took 1 Jew in 3 on the planet Earth. Zechariah 13, verse 8 and 9 says the next one is going to take 2 out of 3 on the planet Earth. I didn't say that, Zechariah did. The Great Tribulation is going to focus on Israel. That's Satan's final attempt to thwart the plan of God. And specifically the 144,000 and his ministers proclaiming the gospel. It may be them and their converts involved here. They're going to be, if you're a believer in the tribulation, you do so under penalty of death. Most of the people killed in the tribulation will be Gentiles because they're not protected. They're believers. They're going to be killed by the satanic duo of Revelation 13. But there will be those that are looking to survive in those terrible times. And there will be people who will take them in, that analogous to some of the heroes of Holocaust fame that hid Jews in closets and whatever and provided food and so forth. And Jesus says, brethren, we need to remember that he's King of the Jews. During the church period, Paul emphasized there's Jews, Gentiles, and the church. There's 3 divisions. From Revelation chapter 4 on, the distinctives reappear. We need to be sensitive to that. They're going to be under great persecution, and certain people will choose to protect them, feed them, hide them, and so forth. And I don't think they get saved because they did that. They demonstrated the fact that they were saved and faithful by doing that. You jump into the epistle to James here, which actually is the epistle to Yaakov, by the way. James is our translation. It's Jacob. But anyway. So we can also see this same idea in a historical perspective, by the way. This may surprise you. Studies have been published which show that how nations rise and fall in relationship to their treatment of the Jews. The Babylonians versus the Persians. Babylon was used by God as a judgment of the southern kingdom, but they were displaced by the Persians. The Persians released them to go home under Cyrus. But also, if you study the Persian Empire, many of the high-placed dignitaries were Jewish. There was a comfortable, in general, relation. There were some exceptions in the book of Esther, but all in all, they didn't do badly. The Spanish Inquisition tortured the Jews. In those days, the Spanish Armada, the Grand Armada, ruled the seas until the Inquisition. After the Inquisition, from that point on, Britannia, not Spain, ruled the waves, the rise of the British strength. British Empire, when they abrogated the Balfour Declaration and sent Jews to concentration camps instead of to the land that was promised to them, the sun began to set on the British Empire. It's now history. Nazi Germany. They herded the Jews into ghettos, surrounded with walls, and machine gunned anybody that tried to crawl over the wall. A few years later, there's a wall around Berlin. And Germans who crawled over the wall got machine gunned to death. Until the last of that generation, last of the leaders, passed away. When Rudolf Hess passed away in Spandau prison, that wall came down. But this application in this teaching, I believe, is future. I suspect it's very specific. It's referring to those that will give aid to Christ's brethren during those dark, dark times.